During a meeting at NASA's headquarters yesterday, a retired astronaut who works for NASA or who had worked for NASA for 20 years made a statement that might disappoint some. Quote, "There was never any formal or informal discussions at all about UAPs or UFOs or anyone reporting anything that would suggest something from beyond our planet." The Atlantic reported that, and this came after the public asked NASA during the meeting, "What is NASA hiding? And where are you hiding it? How much has been shared publicly? Has NASA ever cut the live NASA TV feed away from something? Has NASA released all UAP evidence that it's ever received? What are the science overlords hiding?" According to The Atlantic, NASA has learned that talking about UFOs can be a nasty business.
Here's what NASA cosmologist David Spergel had to say about life beyond Earth.
We haven't found life beyond Earth yet, right? I mean, let's be clear about this. We haven't found it yet, but we're looking.
In a new piece, Frank B. Baird, Junior Professor of Science at Harvard University, Dr. Avi Loeb, makes the case that we must be aware of what's going on around us. Here to weigh in is Dr. Loeb himself. Dr. Loeb, thank you so much for joining us on Rising.
Thanks for having me.
So what's the skinny on this recent NASA explanation, or from this former NASA worker? Do we feel like NASA is hiding anything about UFOs, or are they being as forthcoming as they possibly can be in regards to how sensitive this UFO situation is?
Well, the NASA study focused on unclassified data, and frankly, if there is any interesting data, it must be classified. And there is another organization, AARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, that was established by Congress under the Department of Defense, and it has access to the classified data, which should be more intriguing. But, you know, the sky is not classified, and if there is anything unusual out there, we better build new observatories that study the sky systematically, the way astronomers do, rather than rely on anecdotal reports that by chance happen to see something they didn't expect. So my point is, rather than obsess with the past, where we have blurry images, eyewitness testimonies, data that we cannot access because it's classified, let's just look at the sky and figure out if there is anything unusual. And that's the approach that I'm taking with the Galileo project at Harvard University. We have a functioning observatory that is monitoring the sky 24/7 with infrared, optical, radio, and audio sensors. And we are planning to make copies of this observatory. Already we have donors that approached me over the past week to make 5 copies of this observatory.
So let me stop that right there, right? So that's a Harvard professor. Basically, because I made a video the other day saying the same thing. Basically, he's saying these people are bullshit. Let's cut to the chase. He's being very nice because he works for Harvard, right? And he saw the dog and pony show that NASA put on, and basically he's calling bullshit on it, just like I call bullshit on it, right? NASA is bullshit. NASA stands for never a straight answer. Let me give you some more background on NASA. If you do not know, NASA was founded and led up until the time he died by a Nazi, right, named Wernher von Braun. Let me explain to you how this Nazi came to lead the space, a brief synopsis of how he came to lead the space program in the United States. Von Braun was the head rocket scientist for Adolf Hitler, right? You can find pictures of him, Hitler, whatever, right? He's a card-carrying Nazi. People try to say that he wasn't. That's a lie. He's a card-carrying Nazi, right? A couple some interesting just tidbits about him, because he was so he has so much knowledge and experience. The United States gave him a clean slate and sent him to the United States once Hitler fell. Right? Once the civil war between the Nazis, the American and Ukrainian Nazis, and the German Nazis and the British Nazis, once that civil war, ended, they sent most of those Nazis all over the world. And two programs, one called Operation Paperclip, another one called Operation Gladio, right? That's what people like Zelensky is a part of. He's a part of Operation Gladio. That's why there's so many Nazis that work with the Ukrainians. The Americans and the Ukrainians are the original Nazis, not Hitler. So von Braun came out of the German Nazis under Hitler. He was sent to the United States to work on fast forward, he supposedly, you can see pictures of him and John F. Kennedy where they sent men to the moon, etc., right? So I'm just trying to give you the condensed version. So von Braun left Nazi Germany and Hitler and came to work for John F. Kennedy. The Kennedys were notorious. The Kennedys are, we had to probably say that they're Nazis as well, because they're extremely racist. They were known to make a lot of racist statements, anti-black statements. This is a fact. I think they barred Sammy Davis Jr. for coming to an event because he was with a white woman. So they were notoriously racist, the Kennedys, right? So they're a bunch of Nazis as well. Fast forward, von Braun a couple quick points. Von Braun goes on, his grandmother, or I think his mother, was a psychic. So von Braun hooked up with the CIA and created a psychic spy program. He was the founder not only of NASA, but also von Braun was the founder of a psychic spy program for the United States CIA. 2 facts about von Braun. And he was a Nazi. 3 facts. Okay. So I was making that point to say that you'll never get NASA should stand for never a straight answer. NASA, NASA. Never a straight answer. You will never get a straight answer from NASA. But I wanted to point that out. That's why. You're not dealing, I don't know who people think they're dealing with when you're dealing with NASA. You're dealing with an organization founded by Nazis. By American and German Nazis. Right? I mean, so I wanted to make that point. So, because I'm going to make a couple of more points. Right? And so, Loeb makes the point that these people are not, they're not somebody that you can deal with honestly, really. You're not going to get a straight answer out of them about aliens and extraterrestrials. And I'm going to go over why. I'm going to try to briefly go over why. Okay? 2 points I want to make real quick. The politicians and stuff that are running this stuff, Loeb makes the point. I'll link to the interview, but he makes a hell of a point. He said these people are not scientists. Barack Obama is not a scientist. Joe Biden is not a scientist. The administrators, the politicians, Bill, I forget his name, the politician that runs NASA, right? These people are not scientists. These people are grifters and murderers, right? That's something you have to understand about these so-called politicians that are running all these programs. They're nothing but con men / grifters / murderers. Okay? That's all they are. They're not scientists. They're there to do a dog and pony show for the sheep. For the sheeple. Not the people, but the sheeple. They're not there to tell you the truth about aliens and UFOs. But I will. You see. Now, Ari Loeb, he's making the case. He's trying to do this. Trust and believe. Before he ever produces a report, these ships are going to crack that sky and bomb these cities into dust. He says he has a program with 5, Harvard and 5 other colleges, and they're setting up these infrared sensitive telescope sky scopes, and they're going to reveal their findings, blah, 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 blah. Trust and believe. Before he ever releases a report, this place is going to get dusted by so-called aliens, right? There's going to be an interplanetary war before he ever publishes that report. That's my take on it. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right we'll see, because it only takes about maybe another year or two for this to come to fruition. Now, so these people are not scientists. They are grifters and murderers and killers and cutthroats. That's all they are. I don't know why anybody listens to them at this point. I don't know why anybody looks up to them and listens to them. And he made the point. He even says it out there. I mean, I'm just piggybacking on what he says later in the interview, where he says these people are not scientists. They're not. And it's even worse than that. It's even worse than the fact that they're not scientists. I mean, these people, every time you look, they get caught raping, you know, they getting caught in these scandals with Epstein and raping children, and I mean, all kinds of shit. Stealing money, right? The Hunter Biden laptop, you know, doing scams in Ukraine. Now you got a war in Ukraine, right? Hunter Biden was getting how much a month from a company? $85,000 a month, and from a Ukrainian company. Some cokehead, son of the president, getting $85,000 a month. I mean, this is the type of shit that's going on, right? Insane. And you're listening to these people, and then like black people, they voted for Joe Biden. Somebody who was a card-carrying KKK member all his life. He eulogized head of the KKK when he died. He fought for segregation against, to put blacks basically in concentration camps in the United States, right? To segregate your ass off into a permanent bottom class. And black people voted for him 3 times. Now he's falling down on stages all around the world. I mean, you have to be a total moron, right? To not understand these people are just a bunch of racist Nazi grifters. Now, I'm trying to make this brief. Right? So just 2 last points. That these people are not scientists, they're grifters, they're con men. And the man on your screen is a scientist, R.A. Loeb, Dr. Loeb from Harvard. These people are not scientists, right? They're grifters and murderers and Nazis, right? This is a bunch of Nazis, right? And second point I want to make before I go, these aliens are a threat to black people. And that's something that black people need to understand, right? If Wernher von Braun, a Nazi, was running this U.S. space programs and building them, kind of tells you everything you need to know. And now they're covering up for, I mean, you got to be stupid not to realize, like this guy goes on to say, Loeb goes on to say in that interview, you don't need the government. There's tons of videos. There's tons of testimony and videos all over the world. We have the internet now. From people for decades that have said they've been kidnapped, experimented on, cattle mutilations, right? All kinds of shit. All kinds of video evidence by police departments. I'm not talking about some drunk guy, you know, drinking liquor behind 7-Eleven. I'm talking about cops. I'm talking about Air Force pilots. For decades now, right? People all over, regular people, right, that have been involved in these situations. Why the fuck? You don't got to listen to them, listen to the government to make up your mind. You can listen to all of the testimony that's been going on for, you know, I mean, it goes back hundreds of years. You can look at the reports from the remote viewers and the psychics. You can look at all these different reports and make up your own mind about what you think is going on. You can read the Bible. You can read the book of Ezra. And I recommend that you do so. Read the book, read the prophecy of Ezra. Look at what I have done with the prophecy of Ezra in the Bible. This is not anything new. This is biblical. This is not something new. This is biblical. This is the reason they're covering this up. If you want to understand why they're covering it up, Go read the Bible. Go read Revelations 2 and 9. Right? I'll publish links. Go look at the links in this that I'm going to leave on this video. And figure it out for yourself. This is biblical. But the second point I really want to drive home is that these aliens are a threat to black people. And you said, why do you say that? Why would I say that aliens are a threat to black people? Think about it like this. These so-called higher beings, and they're no good. The ones that are here are no good. Because number one, why are you hiding if you're a good person? What are you hiding from? If you're a good person, why are you hiding? If you're doing good, the work of the Most High God, why are you hiding? You're hiding because you're doing wickedly. You're doing wickedness. Right? Like he said, it's classified. We got to hide it. It's classified. So that doesn't even make sense. What is classified? What do you mean it's classified? That's not scientific. So what are they hiding? Right? Why are you hiding? Why are your ships cloaked? Why are you walking around with cloaking devices on and devices that make yourself look human when you're not? Because you're doing wickedly. See, they've been here for hundreds of years. They've been here during slavery and colonization. Did they ever stop it? No, they didn't. Right? These aliens, these extraterrestrials have been here for probably hundreds, if not thousands of years. Not only did they not help black people and try to stop slavery and colonization and racism, right? They never, with all of that technology, they could have swooped down at any point and stopped hundreds of millions of people from being killed. They didn't. Why? Why didn't they? They could have stopped hundreds of millions, right, of people from being killed over the past couple of centuries. Even in America, they could have stopped 200 million people from being killed. They could have stopped 100 million blacks out of Africa and 100 million American Indians from being killed by best estimates, right? But they didn't. They turned a blind eye. There's places in the Congo where that Belgian King Leopold killed 80 million black people so he could steal the resources of the Congo. They didn't stop him from killing 80 million people. Right? I'm just saying, if they are so good, if you think that they're going to reveal themselves and then all of a sudden they're going to give you technology to cure cancer, which you don't need because cannabis cures cancer, you idiots. So why the fuck would you need an alien to cure cancer? That doesn't even make sense. The skin of a mango cures cancer. Why would you need an alien to come give you a cure for cancer? Right? This is idiot shit. This is stupid shit at this point. Stop watching Megan Thee Stallion twerking and get your head out of her ass and maybe you will figure it out. Stop giving a fuck about how high LeBron James is jumping and dunking the ball. It's not going to save you from the ethnic cleansing that's coming if they have their way. You see, what do you think all of these people coming across that border is about? Right? What do you think that's about? I'm just saying, I digress. That's not what this is about, but it's all part of the plan. So these aliens, extraterrestrials that have been here, are hostile to non-white people, right? They've been helping a racist Nazi agenda, right? You have to ask yourself, why is that? I haven't been able to figure that out specifically. I have my theories. I'm not going to go into that. But they've been helping a colonist, racist, anti-black, white supremacist Nazi agenda. So we had to say that these aliens are Nazis at a certain level. They are extremely wicked, right? And willing to allow tens of millions to be put to death to run an agenda. You see, that is not stopping, but is about to accelerate. You see, it's not stopping. It's just, it was a pause, right? There was a short pause in between the time they killed, 200 million people in the United States, right? Up till now, and they still been doing it. I mean, you got about 150,000 dead in Ukraine right now because of what they've done over the past 12 months. 1 million dead in Iraq. So there's a slight pause, right? You got the CIA behind the cartels in Mexico, and you got probably a couple of 100,000 dead people down there on that border. So it hasn't, it slowed down, but it hasn't, the murders haven't stopped at the hands of these people. The murderous activity, right, and the violence has never really stopped. It's just been covered up, like the whole alien question, right? So, and it's a Nazi white supremacist alien agenda. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Only my theory. Well, I'll give you a theory. Some of those aliens they claim are tall and white skinned. You see, they claim that some of them are tall, white skinned. That would lead me to believe that they're probably some of the leaders of this agenda. The tall, white-skinned aliens, along with these reptoids and the insectoids that you see on the walls of the pyramid. See, this I didn't just pull this out my ass. I'm not just a crazy person on YouTube. I can point you to things that you can look at. I'm very scientific. I'm a scientist. I'm an engineer by trade. When you look at the walls of the pyramids, there are all kinds of creatures in those paintings. Insectoids and reptoids. That's not a coincidence. Because they were behind the building of the pyramids. Go look at the psychic reports. The remote viewers. Right? That's another story. So these creatures have been here for a very long time. And ever since and what did they say? They enslaved they used some of these other groups to enslave the Israelites to help build the pyramids, to train and help build the pyramids. You see, every time they show up, there's some slavery going on. You think that's a coincidence? You think that the propagation of slavery at the hands of these creatures is a coincidence? It's not a coincidence. I don't want to make this too long. But these people, aliens and extraterrestrials, have always been a threat. The group that is here are always been a threat to black people and non-white people, dark-skinned races, for some reason. Now, your guess is as good as mine as to what they're up to and why. You see, it would lead me to believe that some of them are just they're well, number one, they're different. That's why you call them an alien. And two, their skin tones is different. They have white skin. So they don't like you on two levels. One, they think they're better than you because you're a lower form, like a monkey. And two, because their skin is different. You see, their skin tones are different. And then that's where you get that racism from. You see, that maybe something along that line. I mean, I'm just theorizing, you see. And then at a certain level, these other ones you see, the reptilians and the insectoids, maybe they work for them. Yeah, they've experimented. They've done biological, experiments. They've created these gray androids and these hybrid creatures like these reptilians and these insectoids, and you get all kinds of hybridized creatures that they've created. You see, that's why in the Bible, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go. I think I made the point. In the Bible, there's a prophecy. I've covered it. You can go look. I'm not gonna go into it of Ezra, the prophecy of Ezra, my favorite prophet in the Bible, and the most accurate prophet in the Bible. He said that in the last days, the armies of the Most High would come. The armies of God, of the Lord of hosts would come. He would lead an army onto the earth to destroy these people. These people, the people that work for them. You see, their foot soldiers on earth are going to be destroyed. That means NASA. That means the Nazis. You see, their foot soldiers are going to be destroyed. All their hybrid creatures are going to be destroyed. These reptilians and these insectoids and all the rest of these funky ass creatures that they done made, that are cloaking themselves in these ships with their cloaking devices, walking around in Walmart and all these places, they're going to be destroyed. They're going to chase them down. That's the prophecy of Ezra. Stupid, for people that don't read. Right? That's in the prophecy of Ezra. That's what the book of Joel is about, stupid. It's about now, the last days, where they lead the Lord of hosts, right? The general comes and he leads an army onto the earth, right? And he says, I will destroy the oceans, and I will destroy the heavens, and he said, I will melt the entire earth to get rid of these creatures and these people that help them. And Ezra asked him, Lord, why are you going to melt the earth and the ocean and the heavens? And he said, because there is evil there, Ezra. There's evil in the ocean. There's evil in the heaven. There's evil in the earth, in these bases everywhere. He called them evil. Ezra warned you and said, these aliens are fucking evil. That's why I believe they were behind. They support slavery, colonization, all of this Nazism, white supremacy. You see? All this slavery, land theft. Why? Because they stole the whole goddamn planet. This ain't their planet, and they're going to get kicked the fuck off of it. And everybody that helped them is going to burn in a lake of fire, like it said in the Bible. Whether you did it knowingly or unknowingly. Because you were probably warned. You're listening to my voice. I'm just repeating what Ezra said. Ezra called it a dreadful threatening. The Bible, you said the gospel is a dreadful threatening. Many of you have heard the Bible and you ignored it. So you were warned. Whether you choose to listen to the warning or not is another story. Whether you thought it was a joke or not is another story. But you were definitely warned. You see, that's what the Bible is. The Bible is a warning at a certain level. Ezra says that. He says the enemy will try to corrupt the Bible because it is a dreadful threatening. I'm paraphrasing. You see? So, but anyway, I think I made the point. But black people should beware with all of this that's going on. All of this talk. Because something is going to happen soon. And if you don't understand what's going on, you're gonna run in the wrong direction. You see, you're gonna go left when you should go right. Because you don't understand. You're confused by what's taking place. So, anyway, that's all I got.